there's a big difference sometimes between who you are and who you want to be. I want to be a guy in a crisis situation, can slow everything down, mentally take that breath and be super helpful. I know I am not that person. In a crisis situation, I panic. I black out. I'm not that guy. There are some, though, that can slow it all down just perfectly and save the situation.
Yeah, so I was on TikTok and came across this clip from the Diary of a CEO podcast with this guy named Dr. Mike, who I've seen a couple of times give some medical advice. And he was talking about the time that he actually saved a life on a plane. You know, if there's a crisis and the pilot or the flight attendants will be like, is there a medical professional? Is there a medical professional? And all the doctors are like, don't look at me. Please don't look at me. Well, he actually stood up and ended up saving a guy's life using a medical kit.
Had a medical emergency on a flight and they made that call. Is there a doctor on board? And I was faced with the moment like, okay, do I volunteer? Do I just stay quiet? I don't know what to do, but I volunteered. And it turned out that a young gentleman was going into anaphylactic shock. His throat was closing up due to an allergy. And I wasn't worried. I said, where's your EpiPen? And he said, I don't have one. I didn't even know I had this allergy. So I asked the pilot, can we land? Pilot says, well, it's an hour and a half back to Canada and an hour to Portugal, some island in Portugal. That's not enough time. His throat's closing. He's going to die in 5 minutes. Oof. So I'm like, what can I do? So I opened the plane's emergency kit thinking there's going to be some epinephrine in there or an EpiPen, and there's no EpiPen. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? There's no internet when you're over the Atlantic Ocean, so there's nothing to Google. But I'm finding that there is epinephrine, which is the same medicine that is found in an EpiPen, in a different formulation, in a different dosage for a cardiac arrest. So when someone's heart stops, we also give the same medicine. If they're flatline, if they have a specific rhythm to try and restart the heart. So it's a much thicker needle, much longer, not those cute little EpiPen needles that just go into the side of your thigh. And I said, okay, well, I need to do some rough calculations here and just guesstimate here because otherwise he's going to lose his life. And right there in the first class cabin, we take off his pants. We inject him with this huge needle. He's screaming. There's like a little bit of blood coming out. I inject the medicine. I'm praying that it's working. Fast forward, I stayed with him for 8 hours for the rest of that flight until we landed. We didn't need to divert. I checked his blood pressure and pulse every 15 to 30 minutes, and we saved his life. You think that would be the end of it. You're like, look at that. I did my doctor job, and that's it. But I went and told that story on YouTube. Got almost 10 million views, if not more now. I don't know what it's at. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, calls from his office, or his office calls and says, hey, I'd like to get EpiPens on planes. Wow. Can you stand with us and tell us your story to the media? Yes. We tell the story. We call on the FAA to make these changes. And now 70% of planes, I don't know what the exact number is, but something like 70% of planes have EpiPens on board. Wow. Where that will never have to happen again.
So if you ever get into an allergic reaction on a plane, you can thank my boy, Dr. Mike.
That's incredible.
I know, right?
Do you realize that we will never be in this situation, an emergency situation where someone goes, hey, is anybody a radio DJ? Is there a radio DJ amongst us?
Need a comedian immediately.
Anybody know how to use a mic?
Anybody capable of not popping their peas?
All right, so who listening here has actually saved somebody's life? 1-855-BERT Show. Hey, Steven, good morning.
Hey, what's going on, Bert? It's Stephon, by the way.
Thank you.
No, it's all good. It actually happened twice, but I guess I'll give you one story. It was 11th grade, substitute teacher eating some dry turkey, and we was watching a history movie, and she started choking, and then she got up, ran outside to the hallway, still, banging on the door, choking or whatever. The whole class was kind of like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? She's choking. I get up behind her. She's kind of bigger than me, but I'm not, able to manage it. And I started doing the Heimlich maneuver, and that turkey flies out. And they gave me a student of the month.
You couldn't get student of the year?
Yeah. What you gotta do?
Who did better than you?
Just for March. Moral of the story, don't overcook your turkey.
Also, I'm guessing here, and Steven, because you guys are in high school. Stephon, I'm guessing because you guys were in high school that the joke was going around that she was choking on the chicken, right? And you saved her from choking on chicken, of course.
Correct. Hey, really quick, before y'all let me go, if y'all don't mind, I wanted to say, Mo, I really appreciate everything you've been doing. You've gotten me through a lot of hard and dark times. So please don't stop doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you.
And I caught the light flex in the beginning when you said I did it twice, too. You just out here saving multiple lives. I caught it.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate you. All right, here it is Amanda. Amanda, good morning. You're part of the Bert Show. Hi.
Good morning. So yesterday, actually, my husband, we had tried one of those vape pens in Indiana. It's not legal, so we can try these vape pens, the THC plus or whatever that we had got from a store. And he took a pretty good hit off of it. It's something we tried just a couple times. And he lost consciousness, stopped breathing. I had to perform CPR, and it was, luckily it was about maybe a minute, up to a minute that he was unconscious, and I was trying to give him breath, but I work in the medical field. I forgot everything about CPR in that moment. He was sitting in a chair. It was like, how do I do this? So I was hitting him in the chest, and it was a mess. So I absolutely forgot everything. We're so thankful that he's okay, but definitely want to bring awareness to some of these pens and things out there we bought from a store that was legal here and not safe, clearly. So
that'll be the last time you're vaping, huh?
100%.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Damn. And Candace, good morning. You're on the Bert Show.
Good morning. My best friend and I, we were out bicycling, and we decided to double back on our route. And up ahead of us, we saw a guy just fall over, and what we thought suddenly a crack was forming in the road. And I was like, that's not a crack, that's blood. So I hustled up to where he was, and then my friend got there, and he was lucid. So I told him, don't move. I don't know if you've broken anything. So we called EMS, we called the police, we kept traffic from hitting him. Several months later, we heard through the grapevine, his sister was looking for us, and she called us and said, hey, thank you for saving my brother's life. He had a stroke, and he lost vision in his eye, his left eye, but if you hadn't been there, he wouldn't be alive today.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's like
Awesome.
right place, right time.
Yep.
Everything came into play to make sure you guys were there to help.
And we weren't going to double back.
Yeah.
It was my best friend's idea. That she said, let's just double back. Let's get some extra time in. So we went back. If we hadn't doubled back, he would be dead.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
You don't want me to be the one that's going to save your life either, because I will remind you every day if I saved your life. Like, I'll call up every single day. Hey, you remember that time I saved your life? I'd be texting you all the time. Hey, remember that time a couple of days ago I saved your life?
Today is because of me. The Bert Show.